Welcome back to the FanSpeak Network. I'm your host, Brett Astaire, and today we're doing something. Well, we always do this, right? But a majority of the best ball content is slated towards underdog, and we've talked about this before and some of the reasons why people might like underdog more. But if you want some diversity, you want to do some other things, especially some of these smaller contests that are a little cheaper, DraftKings is fun. One of the reasons I like DraftKings, the extra 2 rounds. Do you remember my first show a couple weeks ago? I said, we're going to feel our way through the last 2 rounds. Now that I've been doing, I've done so many drafts. I should look at what I have right now. But now that we know what we're doing, there's fun guys to target there at the end. I think that's a lot of fun. One fun thing about DraftKings is you can go 3 quarterbacks a lot easier without really sacrificing. Now, because of this, you can't avoid quarterback as much as you can on underdog. Switching back and forth between sites, that's one thing I noticed. And underdog, I feel like, boy, these quarterbacks are lasting long, but it's because a lot of people are going with 2 QB builds. On DraftKings, the default seems to be the 3 QB build. So you got to get these quarterbacks early. Let me see if I can find some of my exposures right now. That'll be fun. But boy, I want to talk about a lot of these things. Hopefully Tyler will be with me here soon. I just like to start on time because when I'm watching the other shows, I hate when I have to keep refreshing right at the time it starts. So I'm here. We're chatting. If you have any questions, let me know. We can do fun questions all the time. Like, would you rather have Marshawn Lloyd or Kendre Miller? Right. These are some fun things that you start thinking about the more and more drafts that you do. So, all right, let's go to best ball. I wonder if I can find my exposures right now while we hopefully Tyler jumps on. Otherwise, I will just draft on my own and we will talk our way through it because it's going to be a lot of fun. So let's see, upcoming contest. I'm not sure where to find exposures here. I know it's really a lot easier on my phone. I looked it up last night. However, we will continue to go away. So what we're going to do is we're going to do the $20 Millie Maker tournament today. I know Tyler's like the $3 tournaments, but unfortunately, I am maxed out here on the $3. I've already done my full 20, so hopefully that fills up soon so they can re-get it here. I'll have to find out later. I'm not sure, but boy, I've done. How many have I done so far? I can figure out at least how many I've done. Does it say how many I'm looking at here? I'm not sure. Boy, at least 20 though. So I'm having a lot of fun here doing all this. And let me go back to the lobby and let's see. We'll give Tyler a couple more minutes, and if not, we will go ahead and get started. Guys, questions in the chat would be wonderful. And we'll continue to talk our way through this. So I'm going to best ball. How do I get rid of this on my screen? This is terrible. All right. And we're going to pull up the $20 contest. I'll go to enter it. All right. I'll share the screen right now. All right. And we'll give it a couple more minutes for people to jump in here. So I'm trying to think of things that I've talked about or that I've thought about over the weekend. I've experimented with heavy builds, like just being completely unbalanced. 5 wide receivers to start. Hell, I did one today, 6 wide receivers to start, just to see where it leaves you. Another fun one that I did was to do 2 wide receivers, 4 running backs to start, and just see how these teams clear out. I also did a lot of 0 tight end to start. So I was messing with some hero tight end yesterday. And one thing that I think that I need to do better at is getting some early correlation. I think I've been ignoring the top ranked quarterbacks because of the opportunity cost involved with those players. I need to get some more Josh Allen. I think I have a lot of Jalen Hurts. I just started getting some Patrick Mahomes yesterday because I've decided I think that Kelsey's maybe a little underrated here. All right. Well, let's see. We're 5 minutes in, and I don't see Tyler. I'm going to go ahead and enter this one. And if he jumps in, I will ditch this one, and Tyler and I can do a different one together. So I'll go ahead, and I don't really see a lot of people here chatting with me either. So I'm just going to enter it right now. Let's see how many people we're waiting for. So 4 of 12. So if you guys want to jump on, we should have plenty of time. We'll go through some of these rankings. So Amon-Ra has moved up above Jefferson. I think some of that has to do with everyone that's drafting right now knows what they're doing, right? There's not as many casuals as you'll get in August or September. And I think with Jefferson, the correlation is tough, right? Your top pick, you would love to have correlated. And you can put J.J. McCarthy with him, which is a fun late round pick, but we don't know if he's going to start right off the bat. Whereas with Amon-Ra, you can pair him with an easy Jared Goff, and you can get Goff round 10, round 11. So it's not huge opportunity cost there. I think that's a reason he's going up, although I wouldn't be surprised to see them having similar numbers. Tyler and I talked about the Vikings yesterday. Tyler's down on the Vikings. He doesn't think they're going to be that good. I think they're going to be pretty good, especially from a fantasy football perspective, because even if they go 4-12, if they're putting up 29 points a game and they're giving up 33, that'll be fine for our fantasy stuff. Wow, that was quick. All right, so we're in. I picked 10. So this is DraftKings. If this was Underdog, I would consider some of that stud running backs here, right? And I'm talking about, okay. So first of all, Brees or Bijan dropped to me, especially Bijan. I like Bijan on DraftKings more than on Underdog because I think he's going to get a lot of targets. Even though Cousins doesn't dump off to his running backs very much, he likes to push it down the field. I do believe they're going to be a concerted effort to get Bijan involved. On DraftKings, I like Bijan a little more than Brees, although you can see Brees went higher. Now, the running backs that I'm talking about are these Jahmyr Gibbs, Saquon Barkley's around here. I'm actually, usually when I'm on the turn here, I go 2 wide receivers to start. And so the guys I'm liking here are, maybe like a Garrett Wilson, Devontae Adams start. And you're going to say, oh, you passed up on Drake London. And I don't mind Drake London here. But just remember, this is the PPR. And we're target hunting, and we know that Devontae Adams is going to get a ton of targets. So I think he can be a little bit undervalued. Let's see how this draft goes. It starts in 36 seconds. Every once in a while, you'll get CD going ahead of McCaffrey. And I've heard more and more arguments for why people think that CD is just going to be this absolute target hog. But one of my concerns there is that he gets a lot of defensive focus there, which might offset the amount that he stands above the rest of the field there. So I don't mind CD at 2. I think originally I told you I had Tyreek ahead of CD. Oh, I reset my rankings too, that back to the default. So you're not looking at my rankings anymore on this screen. It's going to be the default. So I go some CD because the only time you really take him is pick 2. I'm not taking him at pick 1 for sure. I think the one thing about the CD deal is that it makes Jake Ferguson. If you're buying into the argument that the reason CD should be ahead of Tyreek Hill, Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, Amon-Ra is just because of his target share, you have to think that that argument also applies to Jake Ferguson, which is why I really like him at tight end a lot. And the way that it works, and we might even be able to do it here today, you kind of want to draft on the turn to get him so you can grab the Jake Ferguson correlation there. And I think that could be a lot of fun. And as high as people are on CD, I think the same arguments you make for him apply to Jake Ferguson, which is why he's rising up my tight end ranks and a guy that I really like to go for here. So being on the turn, remember, we're going to be at about, around 30 and 34, something around there. So we'll look at some guys to correlate here. It's a fun one I can do, even though you're reaching a little bit on that turn, is the Lamar Zayflower. Or, I won't be able to get Kelsey in this one. You have to, in the 1 pick, if you're on the turn at the top of the draft, like a 1 or a 2 or a 3 pick, I'll go for Mahomes, Kelsey. You can do Lamar, Zay Flowers there. I love Lamar this year. I think that with Derrick Henry in the backfield taking up all that attention, you're going to get even more rushing touchdowns and rushing yards from Lamar Jackson. So maybe Lamar, Zay Flowers there on the turn. Let's see how this turns out. Not a lot of shock so far. We've gone pretty chalk here. Puka does drop to me at 10 a lot, and if he's there, I will take him. We can also do an A.J. Brown-Saquon correlation. The problem is, will I be able to get Jalen Hurts there? We might be able to get Jalen on the comeback. If A.J. drops, that's probably where we're going to go. Otherwise, we'll do a Puka Garrett, Puka Marvin Harrison, Puka Drake, Garrett Drake. If I take AJ, I feel like I'm pretty much going to take Saquon no matter what. So now the question is, do we want to go something like Garrett Drake, Garrett Devontae, or do I want to go AJ Saquon? Boy, I've done a lot of AJ Saquon so far. All right. Well, just for the sake of fun, we'll go for the AJ Saquon here. I mean, it's not necessarily that we're going to get there here. So if Saquon's not here, I like Devontae to go back with another receiver. The way I've done this now, I don't know if I really want Jonathan Taylor because I'm not going to be able to get Pittman. I'd rather have Taylor when I'm drafting in the middle, and I can try and run it back with Pittman. But we'll see. Barkley's gone. Okay, so we need to start looking at receivers. I'm not really interested. I guess I could do Jahmyr Gibbs if he fell, but I don't think he will. Maybe he will. I don't want to do an AJ Jahmyr start, though. If I can get Marvin Harrison, I'm going to grab him. And then I'll go for maybe some Kyler. No, Harrison's gone. So I'm not going to do Taylor. Olave would be too much of a stretch at this point. We're going Gibbs or Drake or Devontae. Let's see Gibbs get a lot of targets out of the backfield. All right, AJ Gibbs to start. You know, it's so funny. I always hate these teams in the early rounds just because I'm stressing about how I'm going to correlate it. But I'm sure I'll end up liking it as we continue along here. I like drafting on these streams. It's a lot of fun here. So now what we're looking at here, we don't really care. So we still can get Jalen, but I don't know. It's not as fun. I almost like doing the Zay Lamar, reaching for that little correlation there a little better on Zay Lamar. Let's see where these guys go. Drake London just went. Yeah, so we'll be having some fun here. One thing about drafting them at the turn is you get a lot of dead time here. So let's talk about some of these players on the board. One of the biggest fallers that we've seen right now is Kyren Williams. Right now, he's ranked at 21. His ADP is 23.5, but he's continuing to fall with the reports that he's having some injuries coming out of camp. And then you combine that with Blake Corum's athleticism. I think most people doing the rookie evaluations have Blake Corum as one of the most athletic backs that came out. And we got to think that he gets some love. I'm loving a lot of Blake Corum late, and it's kind of correlating with Kyren Williams, his drop here. But he's off the board. Here, let me go to the draft board here. Let's look at what some of these guys did here. So as I say that, this guy went double running back with Breece and Kyren. I don't hate that. You know, Breece is going to get a lot of targets. I'm really surprised on a PPR format to take Breece ahead of Chase and Jefferson. But this guy's getting his running backs earlier, which is fine for me because really on DraftKings, I love wide receivers. I almost hate that Jahmyr Gibbs pick the more that we came down. I almost wish I could have redone the start. Anyways, we're going to make it work. He got so lucky that CD went 1 and Christian McCaffrey went 2 here to get Christian and Debo because he was going to get either Ayuk or Debo where he's there. Now, on Underdog, I think Debo is a lot more valuable. I love Ayuk here more in this PPR format. that we have on DraftKings. And we see Laporta come off the board at pick 3. I've taken a little bit of Laporta here and there. But, boy, I think it's going to be really hard for him to match his ADP because he was so elite last year and he did have some high touchdown variance. Now with all eyes on him, it's going to be tough to pay off that ADP. I would not be surprised if Kelsey ends up being better. I wouldn't be surprised if Kelsey ends up being better this year. So we'll continue. So we have McCaffrey, Debo, and Devontae. That's an interesting start there. I really like that team. Tyreek and A-Chain, he got lucky that A-Chain fell. Derrick Henry went above A-Chain. That's interesting. Josh Allen off the board. And I like where he took Josh Allen. I love an Allen Kincaid stack to start, obviously being in the 10 hole. No, I mean, you can get whatever you want, right? When you're talking about stacks that aren't necessary in round 1 and 2. But I didn't really want to overdraft. You save those for a while around that young man. I assume he's a man. I hope I didn't misgender him. Is drafting here. Breece Hall, Kyron, Malik Neighbors is your top. Now, this guy's kind of gambling here. Neighbors, talk about a boomer bust pick at 26. He definitely has the physical tools. The question is, will Daniel Jones be able to get on the ball? Let's go ahead and look at the board right now. I think Malik Neighbors, I do want to have some exposure, but I think, if it's just a single, I think I might stay away from here. So we talked about doing that Zay Lamar deal. I think that's what I'm going to do here. Whenever I do that, though, I take Zay first. So let's look at the opportunity cost of doing that. Boy, Cooper Kupp, that's a tough one to leave on the board, especially in the PPR format. But I do want the correlation. DJ Moore should be great as well. I have some concerns about Caleb Pittman in the dome, of course, but we're going to go Zay Lamar. That's what we're going to try for. So I'm reaching on Zay Flowers here, and I'm hoping that Lamar Jackson comes back to me. Let's look at these guys. I mean, it's hard to tell what people are drafting right now. Of course, someone could grab him. This guy must be happy. Boy, I love this guy's start. He's actually doing better than me. You should be watching his stream. Garrett Wilson, Marvin Harrison, and Cooper Kupp. Now, there's also a question about whether or not Harrison is going to pay off his draft position. But I think what really saw Harrison get the big boost where we thought that maybe he was being a little overvalued was the schedule and how Arizona has a nice little spot there at the end. Okay, he's got Pacheco there. Is he going to go? I wonder who he'll go with here. Saquon and Pacheco to start with. Only Nico Collins is interesting. You got to think he's going to be targeting Stroud. But with the way that Houston has all their targets so high, Keenan Allen here. Interesting. Okay. The way that Houston has all their targets so high, to me, it's going to be almost impossible. Okay, so I got it. I reached for it, but I don't care because I got some correlation. So I have Lamar and Zay. So now I love that I've got that quarterback out of the way early because now I don't have to worry and stress about correlation. Yes, I overdrafted him, but if my idea is correct and Lamar is as good as I think he will, because I think his running is going to be off the chain this year with them Henry in the backfield. And we'll continue with Zay Flowers there. I do like the correlation that we got there. Now I can start looking ahead another 16 picks. So 16 plus 42 is about 58. So we're in this range. Okay. So we got Lamar, Zay, Jahmyr Gibbs, and A.J. Brown. Who would we be looking at around here? Andrews. So if Andrews is there, we're taking him. I doubt he'll be there. But obviously that would be our first priority. If not, I'm probably going to continue to load up on wide receiver here. So what are the wide receivers in this range that we like? Pickens, I think, is great in a PPR format. Should get plenty of targets. And the other thing I like about Pickens is if you grab him now, especially on DraftKings where we're running 3 quarterbacks, I can grab Justin Fields late. Now, if you watched the shows here on Fanspeak, head on over to fanspeak.com, and I'm going to let you guys know when we have another lull in the action, all the great content they've been putting up over there. Oh, dang it, I forgot to run the Fanspeak video to start. All right, I'll run the outro. But Pickens, correlates with Fields, who, even though Russ might win the job, Fields has way better, more spike upside. And the idea that Fields could get in there and put up huge fantasy numbers. Remember, this is a guy going around ADP 40, 45 last year, right? He was going right around this range that they're drafting at right now. Jalen Hurts still on the board. I wonder how far he's going to fall. I wonder if that's because I have AJ. Who has Devontae? Let's see who has Devontae Smith. Where's Devontae? There's Devontae Adams. Okay, so I'm guessing that Jalen's going to go to this guy 2 picks from now that has Devontae. If he doesn't, we could see him fall pretty far. So let's see. This is going to be Jalen here. Pickens has gone. Took Mark Andrews. Jalen's still on the board. If Jalen comes back to me, I mean, geez, that'd be such a hard. I don't care that I already have Lamar. I mean, that's just so crazy. Let's see. I can't see him taking him. Who has Saquon? I mean, I can't let him. Jalen Saquon all the way back there. All right. See, we see Tank Dell on this team. Hollywood Brown. Jake Ferguson at what pick? Wow. I talked about liking Jake Ferguson earlier, but boy, I don't know if I like him round 5, pick 4. This is a crazy draft so far. This is why DraftKings is fun, dude. Underdog, you can tell what everyone's going to play. Everyone's smart. Everyone correlates. Here, you just get random ass shit, which can make your draft so much fun. I was not expecting Jake Ferguson to go early. Rashad White is an interesting one. I love his backup. There's a lot of peripheral stats that show that Rashad White and James Conner are just fantasy beasts due to usage, but there's no actual talent there. Okay, we had Trey McBride here. Let's see. Can we guess who these guys are going to pick? So this guy's gotten 4 wide receivers. I like this guy's start. Jefferson, Olave, DK, and Pittman. This is a great start for DraftKings. Let's talk about some great things that he did here. Now, he could take AR this early. I don't know if I would take him ahead of Jalen, though. He took Alvin Kamara. So it looks like he's going to go for Derek Carr. There goes Jalen off the board finally, because that would have been a tough one for me to pass over, even though I already had Lamar. For Jalen to drop that far, I can't believe Jake Ferguson got drafted ahead of Jalen Hurts in this draft. I am on the clock. Let's head right over there. So we talked about targeting wide receivers here. We have Xavier. And this is easy. We're going to go Xavier Worthy, Terry McLaurin. I really like McLaurin, and I already grabbed Lamar, but I really think that Jaden Daniels is a great swing on upside. I think there's a great chance that Jaden Daniels could be a huge fantasy producer here. And even though I think that Caleb Williams will have a better career, I really think that by the end of the year in fantasy football, Jaden Daniels will have more points when you add in his running. And also the lack of expectations that Caleb could be hurt here. Caleb holds on to the ball too long. You know, he held on to the ball a lot at USC. He took a lot of sacks at USC, and that could continue to haunt you. So we're going to talk about what we're going to do if Terry's off the board. We can grab a naked Kyle Pitts, which, all right, we're just going to go McLaurin. Is there anyone I'm missing there? Some Keon Coleman would be fun. I already have Jahmyr Gibbs, David Montgomery. I've been taking a lot of Godwin, but I think on DraftKings, he is so good. And here's why. It's a PPR. We know that Mike Evans is going to be the red zone target, but I think that Godwin can have a bunch of those 12 catch, 100 yards games. So I'm a big Godwin guy. And as I'm saying that, he just went off the board. So people are obviously feeling the same way. Yeah, see, I think Godwin's ADP is going to fly up. So if you're drafting him like I was considering him there, right? Maybe Terry goes off the board here. I think that by the time this all plays out, especially on DraftKings, his ADP is going to be where you're at. This guy was so lucky to get, he got Anthony Richardson. And you know his backstack's going to be Derek Carr. Who is this right here? This Giannis guy's got a great team. 4 receivers to start, then Kamara, who, if you're going to take a shot on him, take a shot on him here on DraftKings where you're going to get that PPR. I love Kendrick Miller, especially on underdog, and then to get Richardson here. He's got to be happy. I see this guy just ran. Well, he's got the Kelsey Mahomes stack. I love that there. Chase and Devontae is huge for PPR. Some good old Christian Kirk here, Kenneth Walker. That's a nice team. All right, so let's talk about what we're going to do next. I'm going to get off the board here because, I mean, it's not really fun to just listen to me list off players. So this is the team so far. We got Lamar, Jahmyr Gibbs. So I need a running back. I don't have a tight end. I have 4 wide receivers. And my next pick is going to be 10 picks from 72, 82. Let's look around this range. So we're talking about guys like Brian Thomas. I talked earlier, James Conner. And why do we know that James Conner is an high? Look how close on Underdog it's way closer, but his backup is way closer here. Let's see. What I like to do here, because I already have some correlation already figured out. I also won't mind taking a falling ADP. I mean, look at Kyle Pitts and George Kittle just falling. Kyle Pitts is still on the board at pick 75, ranked 58 with a 59.4. I mean, I don't think he'll get to me, but we also have to be aware of that. Kyle Pitts just goes off the board. Now there's no crazy ADPs on the board here. I mean, George Kittle, 68 at 77. That's cool. But as we continue to look at this, I could run a naked Evan Ingram. I'm a real big fan of Roma Dunze just because of his physical skills. I don't need a quarterback, so Joe Burrow's out. That would be too much capital. I mean, I almost wanted to pair Jaden McDaniels with Terry McLaurin, but here's the deal. I used so much draft capital earlier. I got to really catch up, especially at this wide receiver and running back positions here. I don't want to ignore tight ends for too long. Normally, Jake Ferguson's in this range, so it's too bad he's not on the board. He would definitely be a target. If Evan Ingram falls, I could consider that. There's a good chance. I might take a naked Evan Ingram here just to get at least one good tight end there. And then, okay, so we'll take Evan Ingram. Not only do I need a tight end, his ADP 75. I'm getting him 82. I don't hate that. Now I look for the run back. Okay, so in the running backs in this range, Connor, Mostert, I think they're fine, but I also think, first of all, I like Najee more than both of them. Maybe because, I'm a fitness guy and I'm into Najee eating healthy. I think that's going to help him a lot. He's a little lighter. One thing that he's had problems with is just that breakaway speed. Now that he has it, I think we'll be good. So Brian Thomas is on the board. Okay. I'm going to grab Brian Thomas here. And here's my idea. Okay. I just grabbed a naked Evan Ingram, but now he's not naked. Now, okay, I'm still hurting at running back, but there's so many running backs in the 120 to 160 range. I'm not too worried about that. I'm actually going to consider some Trevor Lawrence if he falls to me. What's Trevor getting drafted at? 116. My next pick is going to be around 107. So I could grab Trevor there, and I have some nice back correlation. Okay. So because of that, and this is what we talk about, kind of letting the draft fall to you. I knew I didn't want to ignore tight end for too long. I was going to grab Evan Ingram being naked. Then Brian Thomas fell a little bit too. So it only seems natural that I would target Trevor. So around that range. So I know I'm going to go Trevor with 1. Depending on how the quarterbacks look, what I'll do at that point is I'll look to see who the top quarterback is on the board, right? If Jaden and Tua are still there, and I know that the guy, none of these guys really have any Jaguars, right? Yeah, no, because we saw Christian Kirk is behind me. So I could grab Trevor most likely here. I mean, if I get sniped, I get sniped. I already have Lamar. But these guys would have no reason. I mean, they'd just be doing it at random here. And both of them already have quarterbacks that I don't think Kyler has a lot of capital there, especially because he fell. But that's someone we're going to be interested in. Okay, so the question is, who's the player we want to mix with Trevor here? We're around this range. I mean, Jared Goff, if I want to do something else there. Is Jameson Williams still on the board? I mean, I could also pivot into a Goff. Jameson Williams, but I think he's gone, isn't he? Yeah, so Jameson Williams is already off the board there. So he's not going to fall to me. I like to golf Jameson Williams stack. I think that's badass to go with Jahmyr Gibbs, but we're going to go some other way. I really should be looking at running back. And look at Najee. He's already dropped down here. I don't think he'll fall that far. Let's not even discuss that. I do have – okay. I'm not drafting any Eckler on underdog. I don't mind him here because he could be a pass catcher out the backfield. Unfortunately, I don't think I can take that risk because I'm so weak at running back so far. Javonte Williams is another one. I'm not as high on him. I'd rather have Jaleel McLaughlin much later. Trey Benson, we talked about earlier. Now on underdog, they're really close. They're a lot farther apart here. And I wouldn't mind some of that either. How far will Najee fall? Let's see. Is there a chance that Najee gets to me? This guy's got 2 running backs. No. I don't think this guy, Trey D, would leave him on the board. Jonathan Brooks over Najee. Dallas Goedert. No way. If I get Najee Harris. Where's Felix Castro when we need him? Felix, if you're watching, I just grabbed Najee with pick 106, and I'm grabbing Trevor next. Boy, that's crazy to take him leaving Jaden Daniels on the board. Boy, I could do the Jaden backstep with McLaurin too. But, oh boy, that's a tough decision. I think I'm going to go Trevor, though. Fuck. That's going to be hard to leave Jaden on the board. Almost wish one of these guys will take Jaden just so I don't have to, like, look myself in the mirror. And I can take Jaden, too. It's not – boy, if I didn't have McLaurin, it would just be easy. I can also grab Jahan Dotson a little later. All right. The time's here. And make the decision. Do I grab Trevor Lawrence or do I grab Jaden Daniels? All right. I'm going to go Trevor. That was tough, man. I wish someone would have taken Jaden. This is wild. Normally on DraftKings, the QBs do not fall this far. And that's why every draft is different. Every draft is different. I've had ones where the wide receiver runs are crazy. I've had ones where the quarterbacks are crazy. And you just kind of got to adjust to your room. Boy. So here's the thing. When I'm looking at my draft at the end of the day, I'm not going to be upset at all because Trevor correlated with Thomas and Evan Ingram. And I mean, I can grab Tank Bigsby with my last pick to really get a full correlation. I don't hate that at all, but I can't believe I got Najee here. See, this is what I talk about. Like, you know, when I started with Gibbs and AJ, I didn't really like that start, but I'm liking it now because we know that Gibbs and AJ just in a vacuum are going to be great players. And the fact that I was able to fill this in, right? Like, do I even care that I reached for Lamar and Zay now? No, because I have this great correlation here between an MVP caliber quarterback and his number one receiver. Then over here, I have a rookie going with Trevor and Evan Ingram. I think the correlation is a lot of fun here. But let's talk about the weaknesses of this team. Obviously at running back. Are my weaknesses. I am up in 11 picks. I'm pick 119. That's around 130. Blake Corum would be awesome. We talked about him earlier. Brandon Cooks is tough to leave on the board. I think he's going to be such a stud. I mean, people talk about all these targets that CD's going to get, but if people just try to decide to double him, say he goes for 12 and 150 the first 2 games, you don't think that he's going to be seeing 2-3 receivers? That's where Brandon Cooks could really come in handy. Chase Brown, I absolutely love. I think he's better than Zach Moss. So Ty J. Spears, same deal. I think he's better than Tony Pollard. So this is why I said I was fine. And boy, can you imagine if Brian Robinson's on the board and I could have got Jaden, Brian Robinson, and Terry? Oh man, the opportunity cost is tough. Khalil Shakir's dropping and doesn't surprise me because his stats last year were terrible. However, I did send to the guys, Joe Brady was talking up Shakir earlier. If Brian Robinson's here, we'll grab some of him. We also get Chase. We can get Blake Corum. I don't need another quarterback. I don't mind Jerome Ford, but I like the other guys better. I like Rico a lot. I don't know how well Zeke's going to do this year. Charbonnet is another great one. Dontavian Wicks is the most popular player in this range. And we're pretty much moving down to almost in the next round. I just like talking about these players, guys. Boy, if Khalil Shakir continues to drop, that'll be a tough pass. But there goes Brian Robinson. Okay, well, at least I don't have to feel guilty about not taking Jaden now. Can you imagine how much I'd be kicking myself? That would have been a great correlation here. But I'm happy because I do think the Jaguars are going to be a lot better than the Commanders. I also think that Trevor was hurt last year, and I think he was playing through injury, and I think he's going to be a lot better than he was, and I think he's going to continue to improve. Also, Calvin Ridley wasn't that good, and I don't think they used him right, which, hey, I think they have the same coordinator. This could still be an issue here. So right now I'm targeting Chase Brown if he drops to me. Blake Corum's off the board. I also like Rico here if I'm looking for quarterbacks. The question is, all right, at 2-2-5-1, do I have to take 2 running backs? Okay, Chase is here. So we won't answer that. Let's talk about the opportunity cost if I were to reach for Rico. Hawkinson, I'm not worried about leaving him on the board. I already put enough capital on Ingram. We'll grab some fun late tight ends later. Adane and Jacoby are both tough to leave out. I think they're going to get a lot of targets. Josh Palmer is someone I like a lot. Fortunately, I have a ton of exposure to him already because if I didn't have a quarterback earlier, I would have done a Palmer-Herbert stack. Charbonnet and Rico is an interesting decision here. I think am I fine passing on Adane and Jacoby for? So it's Rico or Charbonnet here. Okay. We're going down to better offense, and we're in a dome. They're both backups. One plays in Seattle, one plays in Dallas. Give me Rico here. And if Zeke is just a stud, then I'll be crying here. But that's what we're doing here when we get aggressive, and we left the running backs here because you can see how late I waited here. Oh, I didn't screw up with my buys, did I? No, 12 and 14 on my quarterback. All I really worry about on buys is the quarterback, or if I did like a crazy stack. Oh, yeah. See, I couldn't have done Lamar and Jaden. I did that one time before. Okay, never mind. Actually, looking at this, I turned out right. A lot of week 12 here on the buys, but I should be able to survive. That week 14 is so crazy. And I wanted to start some of those weekly winners on Underdog, and I'm just like, I don't know how to do the bye weeks. Because now, I mean, not weekly winners, the eliminators, where that week 14 is so tough. I need to learn how to approach bye weeks on the eliminators. I guess on the weekly winners, you shouldn't even care, right? You're just trying to win the week. So why do you care if everyone's on bye in week 14 or week 12? So crazy that they put week 14, which is going to be so important to advance rates. How many teams are going to look like they're going to cruise in and they're going to get crushed in that week 14 and not advance? All right, let's keep looking ahead. Biggest weakness is tight end, but if you tell me, hey, your biggest weakness is going to be tight end at pick 144, I'm fine with that. I'm good on QB. Who would I take a shot on at the end? Do I have any players that correlate late? No, I do not. So I'd have to just create the correlation right now. So that's something to keep in mind as we're drafting here. I want players where the QB could still be available. Or I could just take the shot on Justin Fields. I mean, Lamar, Trevor, I should be good. It should be good. So we're not going to worry about that. We're going to be up at around, it's a 9 picks from 145, around 154. Darnell Mooney's already off the board there. I see Kendre Miller. I've already talked to you guys about how much I love that. And since I have, I guess everybody's got backups at this point. Oh, Darnell Mooney's still on the board at 148. I will definitely take some Darnell Mooney if he's on the board. Leggett is someone that I hear other people on streams high on, but here at Fanspeak, we're not as high on him with Steve's comp to Quentin Johnston. The idea that he's a raw receiver that might not show the same dividends in year one. And remember, when we're talking about these players, we're talking about this year only. Like, for example, earlier I said I think Caleb's going to have a better career than Jaden, but I think Jaden's a way better pick for 2024 best ball. So the players we're looking at, Darnell Mooney's gone. I'll take some Kendre here. I don't mind some Luke Musgrave as a backup. I think Ty Chandler's a lot of fun. I think Marshawn Lloyd is fun. Marshawn Lloyd just got taken, and why not? So, yeah, a lot of people are going to be looking here. Kendre is still on the board, though. And I think, okay, we talked about the potential for backstack. We're going to go a running back with the first one. No, you know what? I might just say screw it because I kind of like a lot of these running backs. Did Kendre just go off the board? Yeah, he's gone. I might just take Jalen Polk right now with the idea that I could backstack him with Drake May for the third. I also like K. Dotton here for running backs. I'd like to get that fifth one now, though. So I don't mind Ty Chandler or Ray Davis. I mean, if it had to be K. Dotton. So I'm going to take Jalen Polk right now. He's at 160, but he has a chance to be the number one. I know the offense is going to suck, but I mean, we've seen players in bad offenses do bad. And like I said, that also set me up to just have a little bit of correlation here with my number 3 QB, because now I'm targeting Drake May in the 190s. And where is he going at? He's 194. So that'll probably be, I don't know. I don't even mind reaching for him just because the opportunity cost at that point. Like, what am I missing out on? What am I missing out on? Devontae Walker, like, if he beats me, he beats me. But I like to reach for quarterback correlation a little more. So let's see if my little gamble pays off and I can still get Ty Chandler. No. Oh, okay. That's the first thing that went wrong. I don't like Chuba Hubbard. Is there any other running backs? Okay, we're going to go Hail Mary for that fifth running back. And I'm going to have to take K. Dotton here, a naked K. Dotton, because that's really my biggest need at this point. I don't want to reach for a running back I don't really like. I don't mind Algier. Yeah, he got a lot of work last year, but I'm just worried that Bijan becomes the bell cow there. I could have grabbed Hunter Henry instead of Cade. That would have been such a reach, though, because he might fall again. Let's look at how many tight ends that our opponents have taken. The guy 1, 3, 2, 1, 1. So we probably got 4 guys looking at tight end twice. So yeah, I probably won't get Hunter Henry. Maybe I made a mistake there because I don't mind reaching once we get to round 14. Probably. Yeah, Ray Davis, Ty Chandler. This guy, Joe Mose. Joe Mose is good. I like his team a lot. Devin Singletary, I think, is a nice sneaky pick here. He's grabbing all the players I want. The one thing I don't like about his team is I am not high on Aaron Rodgers. And if Tyler was on here with me right now, we'd be arguing about that. He thinks we're going to get a Rodgers revenge year. I said, I'm not betting on 42-year-old quarterbacks that I partied with at Chico State. Yeah, Chuba fell all the way here. Antonio Gibson's interesting. I guess I could have got him. I'm just not high on that guy. He seems like he's just a usage guy, and I feel like Ramondre is going to take over there. I could be wrong, though. I mean, when we're talking about these takes and these stands that we're making, also, can I get a what's up in the chat? I see you guys watching the show. Bucky Irving there. I like him a lot because, like I said, Rachaad White, the only thing good about him is his usage. He's not really that good a player. Not really that good player at all. I think Bucky Irving could potentially take over there. Maybe he's not that good either. I like a lot of this guy's late round picks too. Okay, so I'm going to be up in 8 picks. Let's start looking ahead to see who's on the board. We already talked about Drake May, but we don't need to reach for him because we're pretty happy with our quarterback situation. So 10 picks from now. I like Troy Franklin a lot. You can mix him with Bo Nix when we're talking about late stacks. I did not take any Vikings receivers, so I'm not really interested in McCarthy. Levis is kind of a fun one to backstack if you grab those guys earlier, but I did not. Jawan Johnson pairs with Derek Carr perfectly. Let's see if Hunter Henry gets back to me. Let's see who these guys have. Tyler Conklin just got drafted ahead of him. If Hunter Henry gets back, I will finish off tight end there. If he doesn't, I don't care. He might be setting up for a little New England backstack here, though, with Antonio. He could take some Henry. And he only has, he already has 2 tight ends. That would be wild. Trey McBride, he might use it Henry as well. Wan'Dale Robinson there. Okay. I mean, I think that's the worst pick. All right. Yeah, Henry's going to be here. Okay, we'll grab Hunter Henry. Then I like Vidal a lot here for a late running back flyer. Let's see the QBs on the board, though. Am I going to have to take Drake May right now? I don't think I will. I mean, if I know what Daniel Jones or Justin Fields is my third, I won't be that mad. Okay, so we're not going to take a QB yet. Did you just take the guy I wanted? Corbin Allen's gone. Yeah. All right. I don't want Khalil Herbert. All right, I'm going to take Mitchell because that's a little bit of correlation there with the Jackson stack. But who knows how well he's going to do this year. All right, we're going to finish this off. Hopefully Drake May is still there. That's what I'm going to be looking at. And then who else are we looking? If he's there, so you can grab Demario Douglas. I'd even grab Bo Nix. I mean, naked Bo Nix, whatever. Jatavian Sanders, Javon Baker. So most likely in this next range, I'll take May and one of these receivers, Douglas or Baker, because I already have 5 running backs and I already have 3 tight ends. So I'm pretty much good to go. So this team turned out pretty good. I'd love to hear your guys' critiques. I would say, one thing you could critique me on is that Jackson Flowers reach. The Trevor reach, you can definitely critique me on. And maybe just some of my running back evaluations. Like maybe you think Zeke's going to be good. In that case, then I wasted that pick on Rico. Maybe didn't need a naked Cade Otton. Maybe let's look at who went around that Cade Otton range. So if I didn't take Cade Otton, who would have I got in that area? So I could have got Marvin Mims, who I think is going to be pretty good. I could have got Jermaine Burton, Thielen. I didn't want Gibson. I didn't really care about Taysom Hill. Could have got Rowan Wilson. So am I going to be at the end of the year kicking myself? Maybe. I think Mims, Burton, and Wilson all have huge upside, right? And I could be sitting on a Cade Otton who, let's be honest, I mean, that's a high floor, low ceiling. It's a small room, right? I mean, I think he'll do all right. So this guy just took Justin Fields and Russell Wilson. See, that's insane, bro. 4 quarterback rooms. Wow. At least he's got Dak and Cooks, and he's got Goff with Laporta. Who is this? Who are these Steelers? Did you take George Pickens? Wow, you love George Pickens that much you want to correlate them both? I think you just got to take a stand there. I think you just got to take a stand. You just got to take a stand and choose one of them. And like I said, I think you choose Fields because the upside is there. Let's just say Russell's the starter and the team's good. Is he really going to put up huge stats? No, he's going to be doing what they did in Seattle. He's going to be doing ball control, bail him out in 3rd and long, but there's going to be a lot of running. Fields, I think, has such a higher upside. Okay, so Javon Baker's off the board. That's not going to happen for me. I just see Elijah Mitchell going. I don't mind him at all. I mean, they ran McCaffrey a lot. We've seen a lot of these players. Sanders is gone. Drake May's gone. Fuck. All right, now we got to refigure this all out. All right. If I took Bo Nix. Oh, man, I got screwed up there. I mean, should I have reached for Drake May instead of keep Mitchell? I'll be asking myself that for the rest of my life. I don't give a fuck. I'm going to take just a player I like, Demarcus Robinson. And then I'm going to reevaluate this quarterback situation. So Bo Nix is the only starter left on the board. Am I going to go with 2 QBs in DraftKings? Thing is, when you got Trevor and Lamar, you can do that. So fuck that. I'm sorry about the language, guys. Usually I'm much better about that. So I'm just gonna look at players I like here. I like Will Shipley. I mean, I think he's the number 2 right now. How am I getting a number 2 at 209? All the other number 2s went at 140. And I can imagine if this is a bad offense, this is a good offense. I'm going to take some Will Shipley. Quarterbacks be damned. I already know that like Bo Nix isn't getting back around to me. I guess if I won so I think for my final picks, I'm going to take Tank and maybe a Raiders QB. Because Minshew is still on the board. I still think Aiden O'Connell might play. So I can take Aiden O'Connell and feel okay. I mean, Sam Darnold, I don't think he'll be starting by the end of the year. I don't think there's any reason to take him. Michael Penix. So I've taken Penix twice, and both times I've got sniped on Kirk Cousins when I had the full Bijan, Drake, Pitt stack. One of them happened to me last night. I mean, it's just infuriating. But then I just think to myself, if Cousins goes down in week 2, I'm going to have a badass stack. So I don't necessarily hate it. But the only time I ever take Penix is if I built that stack completely and I get sniped. So what I'm looking at here for my final picks, who else were we talking about? Let's talk about some of these final picks, just going off the board, and I'll tell you who I like. Tank Bigsby, he's gone. All right, well, maybe I should have taken Bigsby over Shipley. That was a mistake. Every single time I do a draft, I always look back at these mistakes. But it's hard to tell, man. Sometimes Tank Bigsby goes undrafted. I should have taken Bigsby over Shipley. And that's how come I keep drafting. Now I'm like, I want to do another one because I didn't do it perfect. Like, I'd love to hear. Well, you guys aren't chatting today. I'm probably working, doing something fun while you're listening. But I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts. Do you guys ever feel like you have a perfect draft? Every draft, I feel like there's things I could have done better, but it's because of people who fall. You know, with these people who fall, here comes the late run on tight ends that you won't see here on Underdog, because these are the 2 rounds that Underdog doesn't give us. So we're going to take advantage of them. Naked Tyler Boyd wouldn't be bad. You can get a couple Giants. I can get Gardner Minshew. You get Aiden O'Connell if I wanted to. I'm going to go with, do I like my running backs? Yeah. I'm going to go with Tyler Boyd. And then I'm probably going to grab Elijah Moore with my last pick. And then we'll have, the other ones I could take are Brendan Rice, Rondale Moore, John Mechie, Malik Washington. Maybe I'll take Malik Washington instead. Yeah, I know. ANS Comedy says DraftKings usually will never get a perfect draft. They always snipe you. You want to know why? Because they don't fucking correlate. Nobody correlates. On Underdog, you could predict what people are going to take, so you can see who's going to fall. These guys just pick people at random like it's a managed draft. I also think that's one of the advantages we have here, because I'm competing against a bunch of non-correlated teams. Should I go Elijah Moore or Malik Washington? See, when it comes down to this, I just go with the elite offenses. We're going to go Malik Washington. So, all right, ANS, thank you for being the only commenter here and hanging out today. Hopefully some of you guys catch this later. Give us a thumbs up, and of course, head on over to fanspeak.com. Let me tell you guys real quick about some of the fun stuff we have going over on Fanspeak right now. So the homepage is updated to reflect updated best ball headquarters for the home of all content at fanspeak.com. I can't even talk. Fanspeak.com. The 2025 on the clock is updated. Best ball headquarters is cool. You have Steve rankings, articles, recent show links, and there's hubs so people can find articles about different best ball topics, such as strategy, player takes, the best ball playoffs. So of course, that's at fanspeak.com. The fantasy football section. There will be at least 3 new articles every week at this new best ball home. That's right, Fanspeak. As much as it's been known for draft evaluations and it's on the clock simulator, it's sending people over to the best ball as this thing blows up. You want to know how much best ball is blowing up? Pomeranian opened on Friday morning. I had a busy Saturday and Sunday doing social activities. I know it's hard to believe that a nerd like myself could be social, but it's true. It's damn true. I had a social event. Okay. I'm thinking I'm going to be able to do all these Pomeranian drafts on Monday because for Monday, I knew that we weren't going to a party till the afternoon. And I was down with my girlfriend, and she lives on this duck hunting club. So I got to just sit in the sun. You can see the sunburn, draft out on my laptop. And I'm thinking I'm going to do a bunch of Pomeranians. That wasn't the case. Pomeranian filled by Sunday afternoon. A 75,000 person contest filled in less than 2 days. Now, to be fair, the 3-day weekend had something to do with it, but best ball is blowing up. This is wild. And I think it's going to be the new hottest thing as far as content creation, and Fanspeak's in here early. So make sure you're checking out fanspeak.com. Best ball headquarters, 3 new articles a week, recent show links. Guys, give me the thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. What we got coming up next for the rest of the week, we'll have Andrew and Justin. I mean, guys, I like my shows. Let's be fair. Their show is better. You want to know what's better? Those guys roast each other. I almost want to do another draft, but I wouldn't be able to work on time. These guys roast each other the whole time. It's a fun show. Of course, you get Sibling Showdown with Meg and Steve. That one's usually in the morning, so I can draft with them. Kind of minus EV because I'm drafting with really sharp people. But that's fun, of course. And then Friends of Best Ball, where Meg brings on a different guest every week. And that's fun, too, because, you know, we do all kind of talk to each other, Meg, Justin, Andrew, Tyler, Steve, and I. So we kind of maybe we'll get some of the same takes. Like Xavier Legette, I was higher on him until I got Steve's evaluation. It's fun to bring in people who have exact opposite viewpoints, challenge our established viewpoints. Like maybe someone says that Jalen Pope pick was absolutely stupid. Spread, stop reaching for him. This offense is going to be absolutely terrible, right? Challenge some of these ideas that we have. That's what they do on Friends of Best Ball. I'm going to be back next Tuesday. I'm going to be drafting more DraftKings. I'm going to be making a bunch of finals because I'm telling you, man, I'm feeling good about how I've learned this draft board, how I've learned my strategies. Even if I hate my start, I always end up finding a way to save my team. And that's where knowledge of where these ADPs are, who's on the rise, who's fallen. Dontavian Wicks going through the roof. Jamison Williams going through the roof. Don't be afraid to, quote unquote, overdraft those guys because in a month, that's going to be their ADP and you're not going to be feeling bad about it. Check us out, fanspeak.com. I'll see you next week.